I got divorced in 2020
There you go.
while I was shooting for The Hard. I mean, the marriage we tried, but we couldn't. I'll always remember Ulaj for giving me that opportunity to go to London and to date my ex-wife.
I think I do keep an eye out for um, what the tone is of the film, or are we subscribing to some kind of propaganda or a narrative that I don't necessarily think is required.
I would go to an award function and I would be sweating. I'd wear nice clothes, but I'm sweating. I'm like hoping that I don't win an award because I have to go there, and I thought I'll make a fool of myself. I was very uncomfortable being myself.
Hi guys, welcome to The Quint.
Hi.
You know, whenever we work on a project or for us we do an interview, every time you walk away from that kind of doing something, it adds something. What's the one thing this film has given the two of you?
I really enjoyed working with the team that made Ulaj. It was, I think, the youngest team that I'd worked with in a while, and I don't know. I just enjoyed that energy. Janvi obviously has it. Gulshan has it. He'll deny this now, saying he's an old man, but
Yeah.
that's
No,
not
I'm
true.
not
I was
old
just
man.
going to
I'm
say
not-
that.
I'm not an old man at all. Just
Yeah,
getting
like-
older. I got divorced in 2020
There he goes.
while I was shooting for The Hard. I mean, the marriage we tried, but we couldn't. Then we kept in touch and we were friends, and then we decided we should date again. So I had gone on another date where this wonderful lady, she said that, listen, like, I know you're here on a date with me, but you should totally date your ex-wife because you're still so much in love with her. This is a good idea. Thank you so much. I'm still like, I have a lot of gratitude. You know who you are. So thank you very much. So I started dating my ex-wife during the schedule of this film because she used to live in London. She went to theatre school in London. And she always talked about things to do in London together, which we never quite did while we were together. And we both wanted to date again. I said, let's start from London. So it's a very personal thing. I know the character,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
that was all there.
Yeah.
But then this is much more like, I don't know, I feel it's personally, this is more important to me than the work. Like it brought us together. It gave us an opportunity to sort of get back together. I will remember Ulaj no matter what, I mean, how it does or something like that.
Right.
I'll always remember Ulaj for giving me that opportunity to go to London and to date my ex-wife.
How nice is that? Coming back to this film, there is a hint of this geopolitical issues in the film, right? Nowadays, unfortunately, we do live in a world which is slightly hypersensitive, and there's always this worry of how people will react and koi bolega aisi film kyun, aisi film kyun. Do you guys as actors sometimes worry about this?
I think I do keep an eye out for what the tone is of the film, or are we subscribing to some kind of propaganda or a narrative that I don't necessarily think is required at this
Right.
point or is right for a film to put out.
I think a lot of people are very wary of it as well, because right now, even when you do a film and sometimes it's not even out and people are objecting to things, and you watch the film like, what was the problem?
Yeah,
You know, that's the worry more
that's
than...
actually quite silly.
Yeah, in the job that you guys do and being actors, it's not very easy to kind of break stereotypes, right? Sometimes people are put in boxes and it takes a lot, I don't know, I would think from the outside, that to kind of break that mold. Do you guys find it difficult in the industry to do so? Like, and how do you guys do it? Because I'm sure I'll have to say no to a lot of films to kind of make sure your career is being maneuvered in the way you guys want it to.
Not so difficult at all, actually.
Yeah.
In the beginning, it was difficult because I had to like think about it a lot. I mean, I didn't understand, like I didn't grow up in this environment, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, somebody like Janvi, she grew up in this environment with her family and everybody. So they understand a lot of things right from the beginning, like how things work, how perceptions work, how the industry works, how the business works. They understand all. So people like me and you also, like,
Yeah.
we have to learn. You have to
Yeah.
come here, and then for me it was at 30. Once you start learning and then you start having your observations, then you start coming up with ways to sort of deal with certain things which are still a problem and which give a lot of people angst. I mean, I've never had to do anything purely for money. Once you get to a certain amount of financial security, you don't have to necessarily work only for
Money.
like
yeah.
for money, because you have loans and everything. I'll tell you my privilege. My privilege is that my parents don't take money from me. They both are retired. They have a very simple life.
Yeah.
They don't take any money. Even if I pay money my mother for her medical bills, my mom pays me back. I mean, I like nice things, but I also have to be sometimes, if you're able to sort of manage your expenses a little bit, then you don't have to. Once I take that money equation away, then I have the liberty of deciding,
Yeah.
okay, am I really interested in this? What is compelling me to do this? It's not the money is important,
Yeah.
but then that's not a majority criteria
Yeah.
because I don't have
Yeah.
EMIs to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
And
That-
the money won't
yeah.
drive you every day.
Yeah,
on
it doesn't
set.
drive me,
Yeah.
but it drives in some people. I'm
Yeah.
not meaning to critique people.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
you have to do what you
It's
have to
their
do.
situation.
But I figured out at some point that I have to create a situation where I can do this. My cost of living is a lot more reasonable than most
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
So no fancy cars, and so that allows me the freedom to have the responsibility to curate my own career.
It starts with saying no,
Yeah.
definitely, because that's actually the easiest thing to do also. It's the one thing that you're most in control of.
Yeah.
If I can sense that I'm being called to play this character in this particular film only because I did a similar part,
Yeah.
it's probably better to say no.
When you guys started off, we all have these instances. Of course, there are challenges which we are all aware of, and everybody who starts off in the industry has spoken enough about it. But is there an instance from those days, from your initial days in the career, that kind of you feel added to your personalities as actors or really left an impact on y'all?
Information overload.
Yeah, too many things
No,
flashing.
I need a few days to think about it.
Yeah.
It's a very, I came prepared when I came here because I was also much older than most people. But I had the advantage of looking a bit younger. Very keen on sharpening my skills and or developing a skill set that was useful for people that I could use. But I also realized very early on that I understand nothing about the business. Nothing. And that is something that I need to. And that's something that I think stayed with me. It has done tremendous. Like initially I used to be disappointed with a lot of things because it's a game of perception, and many times people who can control it will do things to control, and many times you get the shit end of the stick because of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't disappoint me or hurt me anymore because I understand where it's coming from. People work really hard to sort of position themselves a certain way, and then maybe they're not as good in dealing with some other things and insecurities and all that. But you have to learn and prepare yourself. So I would say that those initial observations that I had, and I felt really uncomfortable. I would go to an award function and I would be sweating. I'd wear nice clothes, but I'm sweating. I'm like hoping that I don't win an award because I have to go there, and I thought I'll make a fool of myself. I was very uncomfortable being myself. Now I'm not. All of these things really, I think, added a great deal of value because I needed to solve them for myself. It's because otherwise I don't have any, if I think I don't have any space here, then nobody else will give me that space.
Yeah.
It's a bit philosophical.
No,
I
it's a
think.
very interesting answer. Yeah.
No, it's also, everything comes down to that whole, being yourself honestly, truly
Yeah, yeah.
part.
Yeah.
So many times thoughts have ended there.
And being okay with
Yeah.
people not liking you also.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah. I'll give you a little something that happened to me. Hopefully that'll answer your question. I was in Bombay, I was auditioning for a coffee ad, and I desperately needed that gig at that point, primarily for the money, and it was also the shortest, quickest way that I could make that money. So gone through a few rounds of auditions, and I was in the final round, gave the audition. I was asked to wait outside. Then the casting director came and said, "Oh, you're from this place, right? Drama School, Mumbai." I said, yeah, I used to go there. He said, okay, cool. So we really liked your tape. Do you think you can suggest someone else a little more upmarket looking who can do the same thing that you did?
No.
Yeah, so this actually happened. So then in that moment, it felt like somebody had hit me on the chest with a brick. Okay. And very soon after, I realized, hold on, what this man's actually telling me is that he liked the acting part of it, but they have some preconceived idea of how this person should look. And it's an ad, and fine. So that gave me a lot of perspective on the audition system, how it is almost like they have a, let's say, a piece of garment they've already stitched, and they want to find a body that fits into that. It's really not just about, how well you perform or anything. So that sort of insulated me from
Interesting.
all future rejections. Every time I faced a rejection in audition, it was like, didn't fit into the garment.
It's not you, it's them.
Yeah.
It's not a perspective that pushes you towards delusion, but it's a perspective that kind of safeguards you. It's really difficult not to take it personal because it is rejection in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have a perspective that will save you from that, from feeling like this all the time.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good, I think.
Both of you are the kind of actors that we don't really see very often if the film is not around. Like, you'll seem like the kind of people who will be seen when our work's there. Otherwise, the work will do the talking. Do you guys feel, considering what comes with the job, right? The importance of being seen, the importance of building a perception, the importance of being papped. Do you guys feel as an actor it's important for you to do?
I don't have everything figured out. Like I
Yeah.
take keen interest in all of those things. I understand because it's a game of perceptions.
Yeah.
At some level, I can do a lot of things to have some control, and at some level, I shouldn't worry about.
Yeah.
After a point, you shouldn't worry about what people will think also. So striking the right amount of balance for myself is what I'm interested in, and I'm learning. You figure some things out.
Means you're comfortable with what you're doing currently.
I'm
and-
comfortable. I'm
yeah.
also learning. I am
Yeah.
also uncomfortable because I feel that the moment I feel that I'm like, yeah, man, like this is it. I'm comfortable. And that's it. Like I don't think I'll be able to like, I don't know. There won't be any fun or no sense of achievement or something
Yeah.
like that. I'm inherently a lazy person, so sometimes I need the external stimulus to make my life difficult. Having a balance, and everybody's balance is different.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Janvi is extremely hardworking,
Yeah.
not only in her work, in life.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
always doing something,
Yeah.
and I'm like, how do you do it? Like how?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
But then like, when was the last time you chilled or something? So she's thinking, I can never do that, man.
Yeah.
And I have tremendous respect for people who can do that. I've seen her, I've seen Deepika. They're extremely hardworking people. They're very driven.
Yeah.
Okay, so and they're willing to put that hard work. For me, it's like that's the price I have to pay. Like I'll pay this much. Beyond that, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not. So,
I love this job so much because I get to have so much fun and yet it pays me money to like live my life.
Yeah.
So what he said about balance is so right. So I'll do what is required of me to keep the job going.
Right.
And if I have to like tilt the scales at some point, then I'll do it. But I'll also, the other side that I'm balancing is my happiness and how comfortable I am doing a certain thing. I want to like hold on to who I am, and I mean that's also something that's evolving. So
Yeah.
yeah.
maybe like
At least you have control of that. It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
it's not in the audience's control or like other
Yeah.
people's control. That
exactly.
you're-
Then you like lose the essence of what you came with. Then I don't know. That'll really help the job. Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're just struggling to find yourself again.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to me.
Hey,
Good luck
pleasure,
for the
pleasure.
film.
It was great
Lovely
talking to you.
conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.